Hey, I got something to show you guys. Take a look. It is spring. Happy spring to all of you. Take a look at what we have here for you from AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Beautiful spring scent candles here for you. Hand poured with premium fragrance and essential oils. How about this? Our coconut soy wax candles bring fresh, uplifting spring scents to your home. Made with clean, natural ingredients, they're a mindful choice for sensitive spaces and those who love effortless seasonal fragrances. You got to check it out right now. There's the soft bloom and the lemon bar candles, all healthy ingredients, all from AlleyRoseFragrances.com. And if you're a first-time customer, use the promo code InsideEdge20. That's InsideEdge20. Get this for yourself, for your friends, family, everyone. You want a good smelling home, AlleyRoseFragrances.com will make it happen. Again, AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Get the new spring candles. And when you order, if you're a first-time customer, Inside Edge 20 is the promo code.
Whether you're searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at sportsmemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and player. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, but you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the sportsmemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee. And welcome in. It's Saturday morning. It is the Inside Edge Network. It's illegal formation, but it's going to be a little bit different today. It's going to be Cavs playoff illegal formation. We're going to preview game one of the first round of the NBA playoffs. Cleveland Cavaliers, Toronto Raptors. I'm your host. I'm Chad Bryan. As always, I've got my man TK Dandridge with me. TK, it's exciting, man. This is it's finally here. We've been talking about this for weeks. We knew it was coming. I guess we've only had the matchup solidified for just a few days, about a week or so. But we've been talking about the playoffs since we finally realized that the Cavs turned things around. We're going to make the playoffs. That was actually in question at some point during the regular season. But not only you see TK, you see myself right now. We've got our man Eli Moon behind the scenes producing for us. He might pop on screen every once in a while and give us an opinion, warranted or not. He might just pop on and just start talking. You never know with Eli. So no, we appreciate him being behind the scenes, helping us keep things smooth for you guys today. But yeah, let's get into this because TK, we got a lot to cover. And we have a relatively short time in which to do it. So let's get to it, man. First of all, TK, how are you doing today, man?
Doing all right, brother. Definitely woke up on the right side of the bed today. 82 games finally down. Time to get into this postseason action, see what happens today.
Yeah, we're going to see what happens. So, first of all, if you're going to the game, if you're going to the game, you're probably on your way down there already, or maybe you got there early. Who knows? But just in case you're watching us, if you're going to rock with us and then head down to Rocket Arena, you may see something a little bit different when you get there today. Cavs executive chef Richard Arnoldi said in an interview with Cleveland.com, this year's menu, they're going with the playoff menu, a different playoff menu, leans a little bit spicier. So maybe that'll give us some insight as to what happens on the floor. Maybe the Cavs will be a little bit spicier this year, right? We kind of a little bland. They needed some seasoning last year, didn't but that's okay. That's okay. They said bold flavors and quick service, so you won't be standing in line too long. Some highlights include, I'm looking at the list here, Cajun chicken soul rolls. That sounds amazing, from Pearl's Kitchen. Short rib steamed buns from Rocco's. I can already see this was a mistake, TK. I'm hungry. A spicy meat collar pizza with Calabrian hot honey from the Flower.
No, boy.
Oh my gosh, man, this was a mistake. Other additions range from a white cheddar turkey burger to the loaded chicken bacon ranch tots. That's a mouthful in a lot of ways. Well, cocktails like the Spider Bite. That's obviously a nod to Donovan Mitchell. Bring a little bit of a mix of heat and sweet. So that's kind of fun. It says heat and sweetness, but I liked heat and sweet better. Arnold did emphasize the collaboration among chefs and hinted that, if the Cavs have a little bit of a deeper run, additional items could be added. So keep an eye on that. pay attention to the menus. If you're standing in line, don't get the normal hot dogs, nachos, whatever you get. I just maybe look and get a
DiGiorno pizza.
Yeah, right. You brought your own. It's not delivery. It's it's not delivery. It's that company that doesn't sponsor us. You know what I mean? If you're planning on watching at home, you may. Well, you're gonna have to. You got to have a subscription. And unfortunately, as we know, you may get this screen at some point because we don't know how Prime Video is going to do, but it's going to be on Prime Video today.
We've got an idea of how they'll do.
Yeah, we've got an idea. We've got some kind of an idea. And actually, let me just put this broadcast schedule up for you. Today will be on Prime Video, but you know what? If you say, "Hey, I don't want to subscribe to Prime Video. I'm not down with the Amazon thing." That's okay. If you don't want to watch, you can listen to our friend of the network, Tim Alcorn. He's got the play-by-play for you on 100.7 WMMS. That'll be on WTAM 1100 iHeart radio stations. And if you want the Spanish version, you can. It'll also be on 106.9 FM, based on I think some Guardians things going on for the rest of the playoffs as well. There'll be different. Whatever. We'll get to that later. But if you want the Spanish version, you can listen on La Mega 1300 AM, which is a pretty fire station. I'm not gonna lie. I was listening to this morning just a little bit to try to get a feel of it. Playing some good music, man. I was having a hard time putting that down, but so that is the TV schedule. We'll just for today, like I said, maybe if you're not into the Prime Video thing, that's okay. If you don't have Peacock or the NBC Sports Network on your whatever cable provider streaming service that you have, as I said, you can always listen to that where Tim Alcorn on 100.7 FM or on WTAM 1100. Those iHeart radio stations, they'll have it for you today. So
that's Captain Obvious, but that's way too much to keep up with.
No, that's okay. That's okay. We
can be under control. This is ridiculous.
Well, switching back and forth between streaming services is wild.
Yeah, gee whiz, it was bad.
Yeah, TK, I missed the days when you could just put it on NBC, and that's where the games would be for the remainder of the series, or ESPN, or wherever. It's whatever. But yeah, I don't know. So as far as betting odds, we don't really get into betting too much on the Inside Edge Network. It's not really a thing that not really our thing, right? But I will tell you that the Cavs are a favorite at home. They're an early favorite. Odds makers have them right now at about an 8 to an 8.5 point favorite. The over-under is about 218.5, 219.5. I think it fluctuates a little bit, on the money line, the Cavs are they're minus 350 to win. Raptors are pretty big underdogs in game one, so we'll see how that goes. We'll get into all the matchup things and what the Raptors are going to look to do and how the Cavs are going to look to stop them to win game one at home. We got to win game one at home, right? So the Cavs will do that. But, hey, I thought this was an interesting bit of information. I looked at some MVP, some NBA Finals MVP odds. We've already got the NBA Finals MVP odds out there. You're not going to be too surprised to know that the top selections here are kind of dominated by the Western Conference and Boston right now. I don't think that's too much of a surprise. You've got you've got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's got 5-4 odds. He's the top guy right now. Victor Wembanyama is at 5-1. It goes on through. I'm not going to go through the whole list. You can check that out. That is that's brought to you by. Who's that brought to you by? Where's my screen? By betonline.ag. I'm having trouble scrolling between my screens today. All kinds of technical difficulty. We're not Prime Video. We're not having the major technical difficulty. You're not going to get the blue screen from us, but you might get me getting a little confused every now and then. So our first guy that we know, let's go down the list. There's Donovan Mitchell right after the Boston fellas. He's 16-1. So I think there is some respect for the Cavs coming in here. We're not totally bottomed out. Donovan Mitchell, James Harden. Looks like Jared Allen and Evan Mobley made the list. Although low odds here and there, but that nugget of information is what it is. At least someone thinks the Cavs might have an NBA Finals trip in them, right? Small odds there. That's okay. TK, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't get into a little bit of what happened to the Cavs in the regular season before we really get into the matchup today with the Raptors. So, like we said, 82 games are down. They won 52 of them, right? 52-30 is that what they finished? I'm really not even sure how they got to 52 wins. There was one point where we didn't know if they had 41. I mean, it didn't even seem like they were going to finish 500 on the season at one point, right? Besides the James Harden and just kind of turning the roster around offensively, you move on from Darius Garland, who was one of the core four, the original core four here. Fan favorite, media favorite. I mean, pretty much an everybody favorite. Everybody loved Darius Garland. I mean, DJ was a great dude, but unfortunately, just physically, I think the Cavs they did what they had to do, and they moved on from him, and they got the best player that they could in return, right? So is that how they turned it around, or was it a defensive effort thing? Did the defense ever get any better in the regular season? How'd they get to 52 and 30?
Well, I definitely think it was a little bit of both, but I want to be more specific with the addition of James Harden from Darius Garland. Now, as we all know, this was a cap move. Darius Garland was due north of $85 million next season. Didn't really necessarily fit himself into the Cleveland Cavaliers' future plans, so a move had to be made very quickly. Now, you still wonder about what the future holds for James Harden as far as an extension with Cleveland goes after this playoff run or what have you. Maybe that number, that AAV, is somewhere in that neighborhood. Hopefully, it's not that high, because what would have been the point of getting rid of Darius Garland to begin with? But I definitely think James Harden gave us a dimension of playmaking that I don't think that Darius Garland has reached quite yet. I do believe that Darius Garland is a good playmaker, but James Harden is definitely elite, borderline Hall of Fame level as far as being a playmaker, being able to facilitate and run an offense. So I definitely think we needed that. I don't think the defense has gotten that much better, to be quite honest with you. I do like getting guys back like Max Strus, who was an underrated perimeter defender, along with being able to hit those threes that he hits. Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, definitely battled injuries towards the end of the season. But I do think their defense is still acceptable, I would say. It will suffice. I don't think it is that of when Evan Mobley won the Defensive Player of the Year award 2 years ago. I do not think that Jared Allen is at the defensive acumen that he once was when he was in Brooklyn and when he first got here to Cleveland. I definitely think the shot blocking has tapered off a bit, which is unfortunate. But I do think they still have enough defensive prowess to make this a respectable unit on the defensive side of the basketball. Hopefully they can play a little bit of defense today, slow down those Raptors.
What? So I mean, it's interesting you bring that up because the defense from a couple of years ago, like you said, it doesn't look the same this year. It doesn't look the same now. Is that because of a difference in usage for Jared Allen and Evan Mobley? Is it? It's not an effort thing. They're trying out there. Is it injury? Just those nagging lower body. I mean, we know about Jared Allen and the knee. He's not officially listed on the injury report. He's not even questionable anything. He's in there. So what is the reason for the difference in the way the defense looks? I can't. It's hard to figure out.
To be quite honest, I can't really put my finger on it. If I was to assume what the culprit was for the lack of defense, it's maybe the fact that the offense is a bit faster. Sometimes when you run a fast offense, you kind of tend to, forget about the defensive end a little bit, not necessarily the truth all the time, because you think back in the day, to some of those great fast break teams. We were talking about the 2002 New Jersey Nets the other day and how great their fast break was with Jason Kidd. And, you got guys like Kenyon Martin, Richard Jefferson, Kerry Kittles, Lucius Harris as their sixth man coming off the bench that were a big part of that fast break explosion with that 02 Nets team. I definitely think, in a way, oddly enough, the Toronto Raptors remind me of the 02 New Jersey Nets minus Jason Kidd. They don't have a Jason Kidd there. I definitely see, Scotty Barnes as a great value. Kenyon Martin, maybe. He definitely does great work on a low post, has a solid back to the basket game, is a very underrated defender. Many people really don't put him in that defender category because he is an all-star, and they pay attention more to the points and the rebounds. And it's not like he's top 10 or top 15 in blocks, but he does block quite a few shots. He's around 1.4, 1.5 as a 6'7" power forward. So it's definitely a lot to look forward to. Brandon Ingram, obviously a former two-time All-Star, had a decent year this year. Got guys like RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly. I like this team quite a bit. I do not think they are impressive by any stretch of the imagination, but the way that they do grind and compete and make games longer is somewhat impressive. And I definitely think the Cleveland Cavaliers better be aware of that. Ain't nobody worried about no underdog, no money line, no total, none of that. They are coming ready to play this game. So I hope the Cleveland Cavaliers are ready for battle today.
Yeah, it's not going to be. Well, we talked about it, on the Cavs preview show this week. In place of Inside Edge Primetime Wednesday night, the Raptors aren't going to be a pushover. They're not going to come in and let the Cavs do it.
No.
And you mentioned Scotty Barnes as a defender. I really like Scotty Barnes as a defender. I think he does a nice job of floating between. There aren't a lot of guys like this who can defend a wing. He's athletic enough to defend almost any three in the league, but he can float down, like you said, in the low post and block some shots and cause some trouble down there too. And while we're talking about the regular season, before we actually get into what the Raptors are going to want to do, and like I said, how the Cavs are obviously going to want to stop that, slow that down, do their own thing. We got to talk about one other thing in the regular season. Listen, everybody's making a big deal. Well, some people are. Some people know. I think that not so much of consequence that the Raptors took all three regular season matchups because the Cavs used 41 different lineups this season. And some of those lineups again in those Raptors games earlier on, in the season, they looked a little funky. We had some guys out. Obviously, Max Strus, was never even active for one of the matchups. So that's one. But yeah, I mean, at one point I think we only had like 1 point guard available for one of the matches. This wasn't the normal Cavs Raptors match. These three matchups in the regular season, normal Cavs Raptors matchups. I don't think this gives you any kind of an indication of how this playoff series is going to go or how any of these individual games are going to go. I think you can just toss those three regular season matchups pretty much in the trash can when it comes to trying to forecast this series. I mean, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, I definitely wouldn't go on this season's past series at all. Definitely. I think that's kind of a bad thing to do, to go off of regular season rhetoric. I do understand it's the closest thing that we have, and a lot of times you don't really have any choice but to go off of what you have. But at the same time, in the playoffs, they say it all the time. Regular season doesn't matter. Everybody's 0-0. This is a new season, yada, yada, yada. So, yeah, don't get too caught up in the regular season rhetoric of what happened. Yes, the Toronto Raptors swept the season series. But this playoff series can be a completely different book. And we might hate it, but then again, we might like it as well. So, don't feed it too much.
Well, and I think baseball is maybe the closest sport that rivals the NBA as far as the postseason being just completely different from the regular season, right? Yeah. A lot of times there's really no discernible difference in the NFL. I mean, the game is the game. There's no real difference between regular season and postseason. In baseball, I think the intensity ratchets up on almost every pitch, especially later in the game. If you've got a close game, you can really, truly feel the intensity when you're watching a baseball postseason game. But the NBA, it's completely different. I mean, the rotations are different. The lineups are different. The strategies are different. I mean, everything changes in the NBA. So I think it's the NBA is probably the one sport. And then also, I mean, how could you compare the regular season to the postseason when you've got Cajun chicken soul rolls from Pearl's Kitchen up there at the concession stand? Obviously, it's going to be different. Sorry, I'm stuck on the food, man. I'm really hungry. All right. So I think it's just completely different. I don't think you use those three regular season matchups for anything but I don't know. It's a talking point, but it doesn't give you any kind of an indication of how this series is going to go. I don't think it's fair to say, well, the Raptors took all three, so they'll likely come in and sweep the Cavs. I mean, nobody's saying it. So I think that we talked about the defense, right, with the Cavs, and I think that one thing we're going to take a break in just a few minutes, but I think for a moment, I just want to talk to you about why the Cavs have trouble getting back in transition. That's been a problem. And with the Raptors, we'll get into it a little more when we come back. The Raptors like to get out and run. They like to create some havoc on defense, cause some turnovers, get out, move on the fast break, score some points. They do really well with that. The Raptors actually led the NBA in fast break points. They're 18.9 points a game. They were fourth in points off turnovers. And the Cavs don't get back well on defense. The transition defense has struggled. And I think that's because you've got Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, who you're asking to do so much underneath on offense. I don't know if that's what it is. To me, I think that's what it looks like. But TK, I mean, why is it that the Cavs have such a hard time getting back on? Is Is it because they're asking so much from the big guys underneath on offense, or why can't they get back on transition?
Again, I really can't really put my finger on it too much as to why we struggle so much on the defensive end.
Yeah.
I would attribute to some of the injuries that we have had this year. You had a lot of guys playing hurt, so not too many guys playing up to 100%. You got nagging injuries, this, that, the third, and you don't really think of Evan Mobley or Jared Allen as slow players, but they're not necessarily the fleetest of foot either. You think about some of those other guys on the team. Jalen Tyson, not much of a defender, not necessarily terrible, but that's not really his MO.
Mm-hmm.
Donovan and James, listen, I really can't find a more inefficient defensive backcourt than James Harden or Donovan Mitchell. I mean, those guys they're not necessarily locking down anything. I mean, they're not necessarily pushovers, but we're not dealing with Tony Allen or Gary Payton or anything of that nature. So I just think this team in general is overwhelmingly average on the defensive side of the floor. Not really much sticks out at you. Obviously, you have Evan Mobley, who's a former DPOY. Keon Ellis has been very solid here.
Yeah.
I definitely enjoyed seeing him as a starter late down the stretch as Jalen Tyson was dealing with his injury and missed a few games.
Yeah.
So having him in the starting lineup was kind of, granted, it's a little bit unorthodox. You're playing small ball now. You got a 6'4" small forward in the lineup, but his defensive prowess is like that, and so you can definitely afford to give up a few inches on the other side of the basketball. No diddy, if you have a defensive player who is as talented as Keon Ellis. But at the same time, I just think overall this team defensively is not. They're not that impressive. They're not anything to write home about. Yeah, you got a couple of guys that can do decent defending on the perimeter.
Yeah.
Evan Mobley, your supposed rim protector, he's had another solid season as far as that goes, but still, as a guy that has won DPOY, you kind of tend to expect more. So, does this Cavs defense worry me? Yeah.
Yeah, I think Evan Mobley's career is going to be. You can see it. I mean, playing out the way that it's played out so far, I think it's going to be riddled with expectations. And by the time he's done here, whether the Cavs move on from him, if he spends his whole career, which just is increasingly unlikely the way the NBA is. But it's hard to say whether we'll say that he met those expectations. I think a lot of people expected him to develop into like one of the unicorns, like one of the top 5 players of the league, right? Like a Giannis, maybe not Wembanyama to a certain extent because Wembanyama is 11 feet tall, but that's a little bit different. But at 6'11", a guy who can knock down the three, a guy who can move a little bit with the ball, defensive player of the year, like you said. I think that sometimes we expect a lot out of Evan Mobley, and I don't know that it's always fair,
right?
But it is what it is. When you're that talented, I think that comes with expectations. Before we take a break, I'm going to put I'm just going to put the schedule up for you guys one more time, the broadcast schedule, so you can figure out. Just take a deep breath. This is stressful. It's Prime Video one day, and then Game 2's Peacock and NBC Sports, and then back to Prime Video, and then we're on ESPN Game 4. Who knows? We got a lot of afternoon matchups here. You got some primetime stuff, not Inside Edge primetime because, hey, that's where it's at. But you got some primetime games, and I think while we're here, while you look at the broadcast schedule, I just want to remind you to go visit our friends for the Music Mentors at go.rallyup.com/Music Mentors 2026. And this is the last day for this, by the way. So if you want to get in and buy some tickets and give yourself a chance to win some really pretty crazy prizes. I was looking through this morning a little bit. They've got some really nice ticket packages. Just some movie just all kinds of stuff. If you go on there, you can go on the website. Again, that's go.rallyup.com/Music Mentors 2026. You can take a look at the prizes that you can win. They've got some amazing baskets there. But Music Mentors is a nonprofit booster organization that serves the Mentor Public Schools bands at Memorial Middle School, Shore Middle School, and Mentor High School. The Music Mentors organization consists of parents, teachers, and students working together to promote music in our schools. Music Mentors supports Mentor High School's Fighting Cardinal Marching Band and its 175 students. And 100% of the proceeds from this fundraiser that, again, ends tonight. So I believe you've got maybe until midnight tonight. So you got to hurry up and get to this website. If you want a chance to win some of these amazing prizes and a chance to help out the fine arts here over at Mentor. But again, 100% of the proceeds go toward the Music Mentor Scholarship Program, which provides scholarships for our band seniors. So again, please go to go.rallyup.com/musicmentors2026 to not only, help our friends out, but to donate and win some cool prizes at the 2026 Music Mentors Scholarship Program raffle. So again, that ends tonight. So hurry up if that's the plan. Get to the website and donate, help out the fine arts. We appreciate you. The Mentor Band, the Fighting Cardinal Marching Band appreciates you, and anyone with a dream to play an instrument one day, like Eli Moon, right? Eli Moon is a music guy. He knows. But yeah, just please help them out. We appreciate that. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to get into, what do the Toronto Raptors want to do? What do they need to do, right, to win this game today? And for them, hopefully they want to win, 3, maybe 4 games in the series to try to move on. So they're going to try to keep doing that. We're just going to talk about what the Raptors want to do and what the Cavs need to do to stop them and just handle their business. And this doesn't feel like a typical 4-5 matchup for a lot of reasons. We think the Cavs are a little bit more talented than that. But again, like I said, the Raptors aren't going to come in and lay down either. So we'll take a look at how these teams match up, what the Cavs need to do to move on to get the second round and hopefully beyond this year. We'd love that. We're getting a little uneasy with losing in the second round every year. So we'll talk about that when we come back. Give us about 6 minutes here on the Inside Edge Network. This is Illegal Formation, your Cavs playoff Game 1 preview show.
The Inside Edge Network is brought to you by Fanatics. Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans, dedicated to our favorite teams and athletes, to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. We're talking NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, National Hockey League, the NCAA. I'm a wrestling guy as well. We got WWE apparel available too. It allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. It's right there in the corner of your screen. Get your official gear. Level up with us at fanatics.com.
Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Ryan and Hallie Mosser. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio, but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at MosserMomentsPhotography.com. And welcome back to the Cavs Raptors Game 1 preview show here, this special edition of Illegal Formation with myself, Chad Bryant, and my man TK Dandridge. We've got Eli Moon behind the scenes producing. We're going to bring him on in a little bit here. We're going to get some opinions from Eli. And I may just we may bring him in just a moment here if he's ready for that, because TK, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about what the Raptors, how they plan on getting this done. First of all, defensively, I think, well, we want to talk about how they plan to slow the Cavs down. I mean, is it just kind of like, hey, let's hope the Cavs get cold from the 3-point line and we'll get a bunch of long rebounds and get out and run on transition? Or do they have a plan to you talked about Scotty Barnes. I think Scotty Barnes, again, is like the best analogy I can use is like a Swiss Army knife, right? You can kind of put him anywhere on defense. He can do a little bit of everything. So is that what they want to do? Do they want to disrupt the Cavs? With Scotty Barnes, do you put him on Donovan Mitchell? Do you let him float down low and try to slow down Jared Allen and Evan Mobley as James Harden? Inevitably James Harden's going to be looking down low. I mean, we've talked about how well James Harden has passed the ball, and not just pass the ball, but pass the ball with purpose, especially when it comes to Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, the big guys down low. So what do you do with Scotty Barnes if you're the Raptors? I mean, what's their goal today to try to slow down the Cavaliers, defensively, so that they can get out and do their thing, which is get out in transition and score on fast breaks?
All right, well, the first thing that I do think the Toronto Raptors are going to want to employ, if I'm Darko Rajovic, I'm looking for Scotty Barnes to use that Swiss Army knife skill set to the fullest of its ability. We're gonna expect some Draymond Green energy out there. Yeah, you're gonna be on Evan Mobley. We're gonna have that epic 2021 Rookie of the Year battle once again, and we're gonna see who was really the better of the two finalists in that award race for that year. But I definitely think we're going to see a little bit of Scotty Barnes on Evan Mobley. We're going to see him on Jalen Tyson. We might see him on Donovan Mitchell as well. Listen, we have to think about the optics in which the Raptors are working with. There's nobody on that basketball team that is better than Donovan Mitchell. There's nobody on that basketball team that can guard Donovan Mitchell one-on-one. This is going to be a collective team effort. We're going to need a little bit of Scotty Barnes. We're going to need a little bit of R.J. Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly. Going to have to step up, little bruh. We're gonna need a little something out of you. Brandon Ingram as well, 2-time former All-Star. Gonna need you to wake up. Can't have you out there sleepwalking out on the floor like you Courage the Cowardly Dog or something. We need you. We need you to be invested in this defensive scheme, because there's not one guy on that Raptors roster that is going to take 45 head up and just lock him down for 48 minutes. That ain't happening. I don't see it happening. Even though I do think this is a solid defensive unit, We've obviously talked about how great they are at running the break and getting points off of turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
You are not locking down possibly the best two guard in the NBA today with just one guy. It's going to be a collective team effort. Darko Rajovic knows that. Every player on the Toronto Raptors roster knows that, and they're going to feed into that. They're not going to let 45 cook them. But don't you dare have anybody on an island with him, because they will get their asses lost at sea.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Donovan Mitchell more than carry this team at times, right? Sometimes that's the reason that we talk about it. He's got the lower body concerns every year coming into the playoffs, because down the stretch it's Donovan Mitchell, and more Donovan Mitchell. And this year we hope that's not the case. Hope there's a little taken off his shoulders. I want to get Eli in real quick. I just want to get Eli's opinion on something. We talked about Scotty Barnes as a defender, as the Swiss Army knife. I mean, and I guess just what's your I don't know. What's your impression on how the Raptors plan on using Barnes in this series defensively? Do you think they'll try to put him on Donovan Mitchell and slow him down as much as possible until he needs a breather and you got to do something else, or do they kind of let him float down low and create havoc in the low post? I mean, how do you see them using him?
I think it all depends on how RJ Barrett plays in the series. I think a lot's going to be determined for Toronto on how RJ Barrett moves, because Scotty Barnes is incredible. He's really good defensively. I mean, offensively. I mean, we talk about obviously Scotty Barnes and Evan Mobley being tied together for their careers. I mean, because they were in the same draft class, the Rookie of the Year, where Barnes wins over Mobley. So a lot going on there. I do think RJ Barrett is really the one to focus on here, guys, because I think if he can show for Toronto that he can match up against Harden or Mitchell defensively and still give you 20 to 22 a night, then Toronto could really be in business, because you know what you're getting out of Scotty Barnes. If Emmanuel Quickley's healthy, you know you're going to get a lot of three-point production out of him, and he keeps that unit moving for Toronto. So I think that's going to be a thing too as well. I do think it's RJ Barrett, though. Not to defer from your question, but I think what they do with Barnes depends on Barrett. Can Barrett match up with Harden or Mitchell and give them options? Because if not, if Barrett's struggling defensively, you got to put Barnes on Donovan Mitchell. Because like TK said, if Donovan Mitchell gets hot, it's blouses for the Toronto Raptors a lot faster than they're even thinking. It could be a 4 or 5 game series. And that's where I tend to think, I know we're going to talk later on, but I tend to feel that this is going to be a short series for Toronto.
Okay, well, that's what we hope. And you didn't defer at all. I'll tell you what, man. Maybe it's a great minds think alike situation, because that was my follow up. Is RJ Barrett kind of the X factor? I mean, we've talked about him for years as being the guy that he's always talked about. He's always mentioned in trade talks, right? The guy that can come in and make the difference on a team that's looking to push for a championship, because he can be the X factor, right? And I think you answered it perfectly. It depends on how RJ Barrett moves in this series, just how they deploy Scotty Barnes on defense, and just what else they can do with the Cavs, because the Cavs, they're talented enough to be a handful. I mean, when you really look at who the more talented team is on the floor, it should be the Cavs. I mean, it almost position by position. I mean, maybe you've got something there with Brandon Ingram, and I just think maybe a little more athleticism sometimes on the Raptors side of the ball, but as far as pure scoring ability and the ability to move the ball, the basketball IQ, all that leans toward the direction of the Cavaliers. And this should be an easy pick. I mean, I shouldn't feel this uneasy, right? I know it's a 4-5 matchup, but it's not your typical 4-5. I mean, this is a team that probably should have been the 1 or the 2 seed in the East. If they'd figured it out the first 2-3 months of the season, we'd be looking at, the Cavs would be where the Celtics are or the Pistons are, right? But they're not. It's a 4-5 matchup regardless of whether or not it's a typical one. And it just makes me feel like the series is going to be closer than maybe a lot of us want to see. And maybe it's just because the Cavaliers have struggled on defense. I don't know. And maybe it's because at times the shooting goes away, right? Like we'll see. Max Strus came off the foot injury. I think the first night he was like 9 of 10 from the 3-point line.
Right.
And then a couple nights later, he was like 2 of 11, and it makes you wonder, okay, well, if he's up and down in the series, then that could be a little bit of a problem. I mean, you look at the way this roster shakes out a little bit for the Cavs. I mean, you're probably going to have to use Sam Merrill at some point on defense. But then you give up a little bit of size here. So it's like it's like this ebb and flow of like giving up athleticism versus size versus scoring ability. Mm-hmm. It just makes it feel more evenly matched than a Cavs Raptors series should feel, if that makes sense to you. So I goes,
Yeah,
it doesn't make
it
me
does.
worry, but it makes me feel uneasy.
Yeah, no, and you know, I think it's really what it comes down to for this series. You know, what I'm going to keep an eye on is the offensive firepower for the Cavs. I don't think Toronto can match up if Merrill, Strus, Tyson, those guys get going. I think if they are knocking down the 3-point shot, if they're moving, I think this could be, like I said, a short series for Toronto. They're going to try to preserve Brandon Ingram because they're aware that he's one of their best scorers. So they're not going to put him on Mitchell or Harden. At least I don't think. You're going to see if Barrett and Barnes can defend those two guys. You put Ingram on at least an easier assignment defensively. So you can get the 25 to 30 hopefully out of him and compete because, like I said, if Merrill, Strus, Tyson, those guys start get going, it could be real bad for Toronto today and this series because Tyson, again, shooting second in the Eastern Conference, fourth in the NBA in 3-point percentage. I think that's so big to keep highlighting. And then Merrill, again, top 5 as well in the Eastern Conference at 3-point field goal percentage. So just very impressive there, Chad. And I think that's something we talked about last year was, man, can the 3-point shot fall down? Because they could not hit the 3-point shot. We were hoping that Ty Jerome was having the same luck he did in the regular season, and it just never came to fruition. Sam Merrill was struggling. I mean, it was just not pretty. It was not pretty. And I feel better about the 3-point shooting this time around. And that's going to be an edge. I mean, we live in today's NBA where 3-point shooting does reign supreme still until, some of these big men keep continuing to rule the league. But I think that's what it's going to come down to is Merrill, Strus, and Tyson. Can they get it done?
Yeah, that's fair. And TK, I want to ask you a question quickly too about the Raptors. While I've got it here up, I want to think about Brandon Ingram a little bit. You're like an encyclopedia, man. I know that back in the 21-22 season, he was phenomenal against the Suns. And a little bit of they lost, right? The Pelicans lost that series 4-2, but I mean, man, Ingram had I think like 3 30-plus point games in a row, averaged, I don't know, 27, 28 points a game in that series. He was really, really good. If he's that effective against the Cavaliers in this series, is that does that extend the series out maybe 6, we don't want to say 7 games, but if Ingram's that good in this series, is that a problem for the Cavs? It's going to be a problem for the Cavs, but can the rest of the Raptors fill in behind him to make it enough of a problem to extend this series out and make us sweat a little bit?
Chad, you bet those sweet locks of yours is going to be a problem for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Listen, like I said before, Brandon Ingram was a former 2-time All-Star. I remember a while ago when he was originally the number 2 overall pick in the 2016 NBA draft and how he would struggle in some spots when he was with the Lakers, but he was able to improve his game rather quickly. You're going through that whole deconstruction of the Los Angeles Lakers when LeBron first gets there in the 2019 season. So, of course, not many pieces fit. Then he goes to New Orleans and shows everybody exactly why he was drafted 2nd overall and made a big case to go first in that draft. Is his ability to score, is his ability to handle the basketball and to hit open shots. Now, if we do give him that comfortability, a lot of folks, a lot of star players have said in the past that they do enjoy playing at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. That atmosphere there is just unbelievable. If they ranked NBA arenas based on air quality, I definitely believe Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse would be somewhere in the top 5, probably sneak into the top 3. And that's something rare to say about a Cleveland-based sports franchise. People really do enjoy playing here. That atmosphere is amazing. So, if Brandon Ingram gets it going, again, like I said about the Raptors not having a single guy to be able to lock down Donovan Mitchell, our best bet of being able to lock down Brandon Ingram is Keon Ellis.
Okay, yeah.
Now, while I do think he's a very flashy defender, a tech-savvy defender, which is the biggest reason as to why he's so good at what he does, other than the heart and the basketball IQ, that technique to be able to lock down those elite perimeter offensive players is definitely something key. But at the same time, this is a 6'9" guy who not only has handles, who not only can shoot from the perimeter, but has a very solid back-to-the-basket game. And if this 6'9", 220-pound forward gets this 6'4", 180-pound guard on him in the post, I expect him 19 times out of 6 to back that ass all the way down to the block and get McNasty as he possibly can. And that very well may be a reality in this game and in this series.
Yeah, I think I was just going to ask you if you had any concern about Ellis giving up plenty of size there, and 19 times out of 6 may not even be enough. Let's, you know what I mean? Not a high enough percentage, but let's go to break. We're going to take a quick 5-minute break. We're going to come back. We're going to wrap up. We're gonna get our series predictions. We'll get our predictions not only for today, but for this series. Is it over in 5? Is it going out to 6? Oh man, my goodness! I don't want to say does it go 7. We don't want to do that in the first round. But hey, we'll see what we think, and we'll get Eli back in here to give his prediction as well. But like I said, that's on the other side of the break. We'll be back in about 5 or 6 minutes. We'll also we'll talk about effectiveness between these two teams. There's one weird stat that makes this series tough to call. It has nothing to do with really offense or defense. It's, we'll just talk about it when we get back on the other side of the break on the Inside Edge Network on Illegal Formation. This is our Cavs Raptors Game 1 first round playoff preview show. Again, we'll be back in about 5 minutes on the Inside Edge Network. clean energy, bold flavors, no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Helps you lock in and focus. Over 15 absolute fire flavors to choose from. Visit Dubby.gg and use promo code InsideEdge10. And welcome back to the Cleveland Cavaliers post game. This is first round, game 1 preview show. This feels like Christmas morning to me. Again, we've been waiting for this since the Cavs kind of turned things around and finally started playing some decent basketball. We've been looking forward to the playoffs. I think we're ready to see where we are, who we are, what we've got, and just what this team can do to what heights this new core 4, I guess. I don't know if we're calling it that or not, but Donovan Mitchell and James Harden and Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, and just that whole supporting cast. We're ready to see where they can go. We hope that includes, beyond the second round. That's definitely something we want for not only the team, but for Donovan Mitchell. I mean, it's Donovan Mitchell is too good of a player to have never gotten out of the second round. I want to think he's a victim of circumstance. I don't think that's an indictment on him, on who he is as a player, on what he is as a player. I just don't think that's true. So I don't want that to be the narrative for his career. I would love to, just for him personally, I would love to see them make a run to not only the Eastern Conference Finals, but the NBA Finals. Selfishly, as a Cavs fan, obviously that's what you want. But man, Donovan Mitchell's just a great dude. I'd like to see him have some personal success. So it's kind of where we are. And I mentioned before the break, there was one weird stat that makes this series tough to call. During the year, the Raptors have just, I believe it's 3 wins against teams that are in the top 6 of either side of this playoff, whether it's the Western Conference, the Eastern Conference. And you go, okay, well, fine. I mean, the Cavs should run them over, right? This is not a typical 4-5 matchup. The Cavs are talented. But listen, since the Cavs acquired James Harden, they've gone 21-9. Good. They only have 4 wins against teams in the top 6 of either side. So it makes it feel like that these now it just brings you back to the typical 4-5 where these teams are a little bit more evenly matched than maybe we think. Talent-wise, again, we've talked about it. The Cavs should be the best team on the floor throughout this entire series, no matter what happens. But we said it. The Raptors have some guys, and we're looking at it. Scotty Barnes, R.J. Barrett, just Brandon Ingram, the guys that can get it. They can get it warmed up pretty quick. So depending on what R.J. Barrett can do, we talked about the defensive matchups. We talked about all the Raptors like to get out in transition. They love, the Cavs are going to shoot some threes, right? You get some long rebounds. It's going to play into the Raptors' hands. If the Cavs don't take care of the basketball, it's going to play right into the Raptors' hands, right? You have to take care of the basketball. I mean, I think that's true of any playoff series, but maybe especially in this one where the Raptors have been so good in transition and fast break points and just scoring on the run. You can't let this team get any confidence, especially coming into, 2 games in Cleveland. I think if you're the Cavs, it feels very important. Sometimes you say, hey, if we split at home, we're fine, right? That's sometimes expected. You get, the road team comes out, they get one going, whatever, that's fine. But I feel like the Cavs really need to leave Cleveland up 2-0. Toronto's a weird, kind of a quirky place to play, man. It's like, it's not maybe not your prototypical, like, scary place to go. It's not it's not Boston, it's not whatever. But it's like this, it's got this life of its own, right? Their place has a life of its own, and it's a tough place to play. I know the Cavs didn't really have any problems the first time. Well, I should say the second time around with LeBron here, the 4 automatic finals trips. You always thought the Raptors were going to be a tougher battle, and then the Cavs would go in there and take care of business, but we don't have LeBron anymore, right? This isn't, young, just getting past, the peak of his prime LeBron Cleveland years. We don't have that right now. But we do have Donovan Mitchell. We have Jared Allen. We have Evan Mobley. We have James Harden. We have the whole supporting cast. We have Kenny Atkinson there, who hopefully can cook up some rotations and some lineups and some hopefully some kind of strategy to keep the Raptors from gaining that confidence that we talked about. So before we get out of here, and we'll bring Eli on in a second, but TK, I want to get your prediction for today's game. And then tell me what's going to happen in this series. Is it Cavs in 4, Cavs in 5, Raptors in 11? They're going to go extra games. Tell me what's going to happen in this series.
Oh boy, put me on the spot, Chad. But that's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for, right?
That's what we're here for. Let's see. As far as today's game, I definitely think we're going to get somewhat of a defensive matchup. I don't know why I feel this way. I just think, first game of the playoffs, you expect the intensity to be at an all-time high, especially for it to be game one. In front of your home crowd, you definitely want to make a big impression.
Yeah.
As far as who wins this game, I am sliced up in all different directions as to who's going to take it. Part of me thinks Toronto is going to pull off the upset. Big part of me thinks Cleveland takes care of business at home, gets the W in a rolling fashion. I'm going to go out on a limb and take Cleveland just barely.
Okay.
In this game for the series. Toronto and Atlanta were definitely teams that I definitely saw us going 7 games with, especially with so many guys coming back from injury. I do understand that right now the injury report is blank.
Mm-hmm.
As of 5 days ago or as of a week ago, it was not blank. So, we're gonna have to watch out for those guys who have gotten off of that injury report. We got to see how they fit in, how they come back. Hopefully they're as good as they say they are. So there's not too much to worry about, in this game or throughout the series. But this is definitely a team that I can see us going to the brink against. Yes, I've said they're not that impressive. Yes, I've said there isn't a single guy that can lock down Donovan Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
That does not matter. This is a team that grinds hard. They grind in unison. You don't lead a league in a stat as precious as fast break points if you don't, and they obviously do. So, this is one of those things where we got to see the hard work outperform the talent, because as we all know, hard work will kick the living crap out of talent if talent fails to work hard. And that very well may be our reality if we do not outwork these guys. So, I definitely see this series going 6 or 7.
Yeah.
I don't know who wins the series right now, man. I just don't.
Right.
I just don't. I'll take Cleveland today, barely.
All right.
But as far as who wins this damn series, I have no idea right now, CB. I really don't.
It's fair. I mean, we can revisit it after these first 2 games in Cleveland. We can we'll see more of what the Cavs are going to bring. We'll see what the Raptors are going to bring. Obviously, we'll see it. So yeah, we can revisit that pick. I mean, it doesn't have to be set in stone, but it's just I'm just looking for your gut feeling going into game 1. I'm going to bring Eli back on the screen if he can. Maybe you can make me feel better, because I've told you. Listen, Wednesday night I told you guys during the Cavs playoff preview, I'm uneasy. I feel weird going into this series. I feel weird going into these playoffs. I should feel like, hey, the Cavs are going to run right through the Eastern Conference Finals. Maybe that's where they finally run into trouble. Yeah. Eli, I don't know if that's how I feel. Tell me something good. Tell me your real thoughts, but hopefully it's something good. It bring me off the ledge a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, I'll tell you a few good things. Papa Moon has returned home from his cruise, so we got the full Moon household back.
That's great for us. Maybe not so good for him. I think he would have liked to have maybe spent a couple more days.
He would have rather be in the Bahamas still. Yeah,
Yeah.
But that's good news. The sun is shining in Cleveland, Ohio. That's good news.
Okay.
Downtown Cleveland and everything's going to be bumping. That's phenomenal news.
Yeah.
I got a show tonight at 8:30. If you want to rock out after a Cavs victory, I'll get to that in a second.
All right.
That's great news at Grog Shop.
And that's the show. That's it. That's all positive. Let's just end it right now.
I got great news for you. Great news. I'll tell you. And if you look behind there, there's a new. Oh no new cars.
Right.
Right.
I thought I was going to get a new car. Okay.
I'll tell you this, fellas. I feel good about.
I can afford the taxes anyway, Eli. It doesn't matter.
I feel good about the Cavs in this series, guys. I think really the Cavs today win 122-107. I think it's going to be a game where you see about 18 points out of Jalen Tyson. He's going to have a very efficient game, I think, for the Cavaliers. I told earlier in the Cavs preview show he's going to have to be an X factor, and I mentioned here earlier on that he's going to have to be one of those guys that step up. So I think he will have a good game, and I think James Harden, this is him saying, hey, what's up, Cleveland? We're about to rock out. Double-double for James Harden today. I don't know about point total, but I think at least 23 to 25 for James Harden, probably 11 to 12 assists. A lot of those to Jalen Tyson, a lot of those to Jared Allen. I think that's what it's going to be. And I truly think the Cavaliers win this in 5. Toronto gets 1. It's a gentleman's sweep. but they're winning this in Cleveland in 5 games. This is a momentum building series. This is a series where they have to build some momentum. If you want to go up against Detroit and New York and Boston, you got to take care of Toronto. You got to take care of these teams that you're expected to beat. The championship teams beat those teams, and if you don't, then there's no reason for us to even be having conversations about Boston or New York or Detroit. We don't belong in that category if we have another upsetting first round. If we have a first round upset, that would be catastrophic. Sound the alarms. Everybody's probably, on the hot seat. I don't want to say gone, but you're having conversations about, is Evan Mobley and Jared Allen going to be here next year? What about Kenny Atkinson? And I don't want to have those conversations. I don't.
No.
So take care of business. I think they do. 5-game series. Cavs win. They win game 1 in Cleveland, 122-107. And we're celebrating. We're celebrating having a good Saturday here in Cleveland.
Okay. All right. Those certainly were words that should make me feel better. But when you talk about the if we have this, if we have that brings me back to, like, I remember that I'm standing on the ledge with this team right now. We'll keep an eye on some of the injuries. Emmanuel quickly had a hamstring for the Raptors. We'll keep an eye on that. Of course, Jared Allen's knee concerns everyone. I mean, just with again, getting up and down the floor and playing defense and moving, it's tough when you have a knee that's bugging you. We've got fingers and thumbs and shoulders and bumps. No bumps. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on all the injuries, whatever. It just rhymed. I couldn't help it. I'm sorry. I spent too much time with my kids. Yeah,
Chad, real quick. Yeah. I do want to ease your concerns a little bit more too. We had Tim Alcorn on the Cavs preview show earlier this week on the Inside Edge Network, and if you missed it, you have some time before pregame once we wrap up to go check that out with Anthony Alford on the Inside Edge Net on all socials. But he mentioned about how this is a 10-man rotation, essentially. It could be 11 with Thomas Bryant being healthy. So the fact that everybody's healthy and everybody's produced because of having injuries earlier in the year and having to step up and get those extended minutes. Tyson's had extended minutes. Merrill's had extended minutes at points in the season. Dean Wade's had extended minutes during the season. So these guys are ready for them to be called for 15, 18 minutes in a game. I think that's super important, Chad, because we didn't have that last year. Last year we were hoping Ty Jerome and Max Strus and Sam Merrill, and that was about it. There wasn't really any extra boost. Right now, go back to Tim Alcorn mentioning, you have that second unit, could be something along the lines of Sam Merrill, Max Strus, Jalen Tyson. You're looking at Thomas Bryant in there. You have these guys that are in that second unit that could be really, really efficient. And sometimes when it goes to the second unit, that's when you could actually, break the game open. If our second unit is stronger than their second unit, that's when things could get ugly. Because, yes, the starters, we talked about how they have Barrett. Toronto does. Barrett. They have Scotty Barnes. They have Brandon Ingram. They do have talent offensively on the starting side. When they get to that bench, though, that's when they thin out. And that's what's going to be a big key as well for the Cavaliers in this series.
Yeah, according to the Akron Beacon Journal about an hour ago, Thomas Bryant is out today. He's out for game 1 with that calf. So we'll see what his status is for game 2 and going forward. But calf injuries concern me, especially in basketball. I mean, a calf is obviously it's, you talk about point of contact injuries. I mean, Darius Garland, the worst possible thing with the toe. But the calf is not far above that, right? You've got to run, you got to cut, you got to jump, you got to stop. Those are all things that Cavs don't like to do. Not the Cavs, not the Cleveland Cavaliers, but calf muscles. And not baby cows either. This is very confusing. But yeah, calf muscles don't like doing all that when they're already sore. It's a nagging type of injury. So you worry about that with Thomas Bryant. You hope that he can contribute something going forward. But that being said, yes.
You've asked us what we think. What's your prediction for game 1? And what's your prediction for this Cavs-Raptors series, my friend?
Thank you for tuning in. That's it for us today. We're gonna no. I'm gonna get out of here without making a decision. No, I like 1-20. I like 122-107. I love that. I think it is going to be a little higher score. But then TK, you made me think that like it could go the other way. I mean, we talk about all the time how the NBA regular season looks totally different from the playoffs. I mean, totally different. And the postseason tends to bring out that defensive effort. I hope the Cavs don't come out and kind of like you don't really want to feel out the Raptors, right? This is not two heavyweights. This is not Celtics Cavs. This is not a lot of people don't look at the Pistons as a heavyweight, even though they were the 1 seed.
No, they are.
Well, yeah, but you don't. But people don't look at them that way. I mean, people just glaze right over the Pistons, like, hey, they're not the Celtics, right? They don't have the playoff pedigree. They're not going to do anything. I don't know. But this isn't like a heavyweight matchup. You want the Cavs to come out in game 1 and take care of business, right? So that being said, I hope that the Cavs come out with the defensive intensity that we haven't really seen for most of the year. We've seen it for a couple of halves at a time. We've seen it for a few games at a time. We haven't seen it consistently. I think they just I want to give them the benefit of the doubt and say they turned the corner on that today. I think the defensive intensity is there. I think they hold the Raptors to just under 100 points. I think they win this one. It's going to be a little closer than I want it to be, maybe 107-98. I think it'll be close. You know, the NBA is a game of runs. I think you're going to see the Raptors take a couple leads in this one. Cavs aren't going to lead it from wire to wire. They may jump down early. It may be that, I don't know, there's a little bit of nerves involved. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just my stomach. Maybe I feel uneasy. But it feels like there could be a little nerves coming out in the quarter, trying to find their identity, figure out exactly what they want to do. So maybe the Raptors take a lead early. We all panic a little bit. We go, man, this team's down 22 to 12, whatever. It looks bad. But I think they come back, and I'll say, yeah, like 107-98 for game one. Yeah, for the series. Ooh, man, I would. Oh, okay. You're gonna put me on the spot. I want to say, just go. I'm gonna go with the home. Let's go Cavs in 6. I don't want it to go 6. I hope it doesn't, but I think it will, and I think the Cavs win this series in 6 games. And when we move on to the second round, we all talk about how uneasy we felt in the first round, and if they can really match up with whoever. But yeah, Cavs in 6 for the series. I think 107-98, Cavs in 6 for the series. That's all we've got for you guys. Enjoy the game today. We're going to tip off in just about a half an hour. If you can, try to stay calm. Again, it may not start out well. I feel like the Cavs might jump down early, but they're a good enough team. They've got 4 guys on the floor almost at all times who can score 20 to 25 points without even really putting in too much of an effort, right? Doesn't have to be a concerted effort to get 20, 25 out of Harden, out of Allen, out of Mobley, out of Donovan Mitchell. Obviously, we've seen Donovan Mitchell go for big numbers. We hope we don't need too many of those to get out of the first round, but if we do, we do. You have to do what you have to do to win in the postseason. So,
yeah,
enjoy the game, right? Enjoy. Hopefully, what's the Cavs win today, and enjoy. If you're not down there to eat all the food that we talked about, just try to look on the broadcast and see if you see any any crazy food items. That made me hungry. That was a big mistake that stopped the show.
Yeah.
Should have done that at the end of the show. That's fine. We'll do that for next time. But TK, any parting words? Anything before we get out of here today?
Nothing much today. Just hoping for a great game. Hoping we don't gift wrap the upset, and we take care of business and win this game 1. Because, like you said, leaving Cleveland 2-0 to go to Scotiabank Arena in Toronto would be ideal.
Yeah,
would be absolutely ideal. So let's hope we get it done today, one step at a time, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah,
okay.
Go set the tone. I agree with you. I hope we did a good job of setting the tone for you. If you're going to go watch the Cavs game on Prime Video, if you're going to listen on 100.7, if you're listening on WTAM, or if you're listening on Omega, right? Whatever it is, we want you to have felt like we set the tone for you. So I hope we did a good job for that today. We're going to get out of here. Thank you for watching, for listening, whatever it was. This has been the first Cavs, right? The first Cavs playoff preview show. Game 1 today with the Raptors. We're going to tip off at 1:00 here at Rocket Arena. So enjoy that on Prime Video. Hopefully, you guys don't see this screen at any point during the day. We don't want the Prime Video technical difficulty screen. And hopefully no overtime. We get this done in regulation, win game 1, and go on to game 2 and feel pretty good about it. So, again, thanks so much for being with us. Remember to follow us at Inside Edge Net on all the socials, especially if you like what we're doing here. We're going to be back with more. We've got post-game coverage. Don't forget. By the way, TK and I will be back with you after the game for some post-game coverage. So we'll talk about whether or not we were right, all the stuff we were right about, all the stuff we were wrong about. And hopefully we're talking about a Cavs win here. Just a couple of minutes after the buzzer sounds, we'll be back live with you here on the Inside Edge Network. So please don't forget about that. I almost did. I got a busy day. I got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of logistics today. So trying to fit everything in. But yeah, please remember that we will be back with you post game. TK and I will be. I'm not sure if Eli's going to be around for that or not, but if we can get him, that'd be great as well. So again, guys, go enjoy the game. We'll see you just after the buzzer sounds. Give us, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 minutes after the buzzer. We'll be right back with you. We're going to get in the studio and get set up and ready to go for you. We'll have our eye on the game. We'll have our eye on the score, and We'll talk about, hopefully, what is a Cavs Game 1 win, and they'll be up 1-0 on the Toronto Raptors. Until then, until just a little bit later, a couple hours from now, we'll see you then. Enjoy the game, guys. Thanks so much for being with us. Bye-bye.